All right, everybody, and once again, Dr. Frank Kern, attorney at law, chief engineer with NASA, with arguably the greatest synchronized swimming coach in the history of the Olympics.
Just Brett.
Just Brett. Okay, whatever. All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to roll hard and deep in building the 4-Day Cash Machine 2.0. Rule number one, first rule of Infusionsoft Campaign Club is always copy the campaigns before we start messing with them. So to do that, once again, you click on the campaign and you go to make it a copy. And I'm just going to say new product. Yay! Okay, so then we click on save, and 7,000 years later, it will actually save it. And it's pretty simple. We have three components. We have, of course, the assets, which is going to be the landing page and stuff. We have the Infusionsoft stuff, and then we have the plus this stuff. And all of these things are really pretty basic. Let's talk about the assets first. The way to look at your assets, or you go into the megaphone, and we are going to look for the 4-Day Cash Machine 2.0 stuff, which actually was just in front of me. I was just making sure you were paying attention. So what we've got here is we have two pages. We have one, which is the video sales letter, and then we need to have a page that they see if it is sold out. So just like we usually do, we're simply going to copy the sold out page. Auto launch or from AutoWebby, it doesn't really matter, depending on how many you've copied at this stage. But the auto launch one is the one that's in here by default. So we simply go to auto launch sold out. We click on, are you sure you want to clone it? We say yes, in fact we are. Stop being so passive aggressive and second guessing my decisions all the time. And then we want to edit the name of this just for clarificationalism. So I'm going to click on edit, and I'm just going to call this person 4-Day Cash Machine, 4-Day Cash Machine 2 sold out copy. So that's all we're going to do there. So we've got that done, and now we have our VSL, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this VSL, and I'm just going to have my my URL handy, right? And the reason why is because we're going to need it. Okay, so that's pretty much all we've got to do for now with the web pages and stuff. Now, of course, we're going to go back and we're going to make it beautiful, and we're going to put, the right buy button and the right links and the right copy and all of that kind of stuff. Right now, we're just building the skeletal parts of the campaign. So our next step is to now do the Infusionsoft stuff.
Dun, dun, dun. So inside Infusionsoft, the big things we need to take care of are making sure, first of all, that we have the links configured correctly, and also making sure that we have plus this set to handle the countdown, which is going to happen in another one of the sequences. So first thing we're doing is we have this bait sequence where we're driving people to the VSL. There's going to be a link in here driving to that, again, to that VSL, so we're going to want to copy this link. And I'm glad that Frank had us teed up for this. We're going to copy that link out, come back to the campaign, and we're going to go into campaign links. Where it says bait sequence video page, that's the VSL. That's poorly named, and I apologize for that, but that's what that is. So we're driving them back to that VSL. We're going to save that. Okay, that's pretty much all we have to do for this piece inside Infusionsoft, because now each of these emails, just like we've done in the other campaigns or the other sequences, each of the emails in here now have that correct link to drive them to the VSL. We're going to do some cool stuff with this goal here to drive them into the 4-Day Cash Machine emails. But the next thing that we need to do, that third component of this campaign, is the plus this component. And what that's going to do is there's two pieces of what plus this is going to do for this particular campaign. The first is that it's going to calculate the day that the cash machine, or basically it's going to calculate that fourth day when the cart closes. The second thing it's going to do is, like we did with the auto webinar and like we did with the auto launch, it's going to create a link that's going to expire as soon as this tag is removed. So we got to go create two new features in plus this. So I'm going to jump into plus this. And the first feature we're going to create is the what's the date feature. Again, that's the feature that's going to calculate today plus 4 days. All right, so we're going to go to what's the date, and we're going to ignore this little piece, and we're going to go to the date when the feature is used. We're going to add 4 days, and then we're going to create a new field, which is going to be the 4-Day Cash Machine 2.0. Whoa. Spelling is apparently not my forte right now. Cash machine 2.0, cart close date. Okay, so we'll create that field, and then just like we did before, we're going to go into date format options. We're going to create a new text field, which is going to be the, again, 4-day cache cart closed. And I'm going to put in 2.0 here just because I want to make sure we've got that. Okay. Once we've created that field, we're going to choose how we want that to be formatted. And again, what we're doing here is we're calculating the date that's 4 days out, because in this campaign, we start them once they click to the VSL. Now they have those 4 days to make their purchase. We're going to calculate what that date is, the 4 days out, and then we're going to merge that date into the emails, but we want it to look as though someone wrote it and not like a computer made it up, which is why we're going to format it in this way here. So we're going to name this format cart close day for 4-day cache 2.0. Okay. Now, once we've saved this, plus this is going to give us this fancy URL. We're going to copy that, go back into Infusionsoft, and in this little section here for the HTTP post, we're going to paste that where it says plus this URL. All right, a lot of copying and pasting. So we'll make that draft, and then we move back to the sequence. Now, the last thing we need to do in plus this is create our smart link, which we're then going to drop into each one of these emails. But we need to know what the tag is that we're applying and then removing. So I'm just going to check this to make sure. Okay, 4-day cache machine 2.0, cart open. Great. So now we're going to go back to plus this, go to feature library, click on smart links, and we're going to create a smart link. The smart link we're going to create is going to drive them again to the sold out page if they don't have the tag, if they're either once the 4 days are up, and it's going to send them to the VSL during the 4 days. So we're going to go back to Megaphone really quickly. Back to the pages, and the auto launch sold out because Frank didn't actually save this. So I'm gonna clean up his mess here a little bit. 4-day cache 2.0 sold out. Save. Okay, so we're gonna copy this. This is again the sold out page. We're gonna put this into the fallback URL, and then we're gonna create a new smart link based on tags. And again, the tag we're using is from the let's see, 4-day cache machine 2.0 right here, cart open. Select that, and then the address we want to send to them when they have the tag, which is within that sequence while they still have access to it, is going to be the VSL. So I'm going to go find the 4-day cache machine 2.0 VSL. I'm going to copy this link out, and I'm going to drop that into plus this here. Okay. Now, last thing I need to do inside plus this is just give it a name. So we're going to call this 4-day cache 2.0 smart link. We'll save this by clicking add feature. Now we're going to take this link that plus this gives us down at the bottom, and we're going to go and paste this into all of the emails inside this sequence. There's only 4 of them, so we're just going to jump in, and anytime there's a link in any one of these spots, here, 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 we're just going to click on it, click on the link button up here, and then where it says plus this link, you guessed it, we're going to paste the link right over the top. And again, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but what we're doing here is we're putting links in here that will actually expire. We're creating that real scarcity, because you can see here we're going to merge in the date that we calculated, which is 4 days in the future, or in this case 3 days in the future, on day 4. And then there's a link here where as soon as that tag gets removed on that 4th day, they no longer have access to the VSL. They see that sold out page. So it does create that ongoing realistic scarcity. And that's all we need to do with this campaign. That's the tech stuff that we have to do with this one. Again, getting the pages set up, making sure we clone that page for the sold out page, getting the stuff ready inside Infusionsoft with the campaign links for that bait sequence link, and then setting up the plus this smart link and the calculating that date. And that's all we got to do on this. So enjoy.